Welcome to this lesson. We already looked at variables in one of our previous lessons, and I defined them as holders of information. But a variable can only hold one information at one time, be it a string, number, or a Boolean value. So if you want it to hold a different value, you need to replace the first value with the second value. But it can't hold more than one value at the same time. So that is what a variable is. But what if you want a variable to hold multiple information at the same time? There are instances where you need that to happen, right? So you need arrays to make that possible. So the only way to hold multiple information is by using arrays. So what are arrays then? Well, just as the name specify, they allow you to store an array of values inside a variable and access them separately or together. You'll understand this concept better once I show you some examples, so just bear with me for a minute. To declare a variable as an array, you can use multiple ways. One of the common ways is by using the new array method. So let me first declare a variable called number, and then I'll assign it the method new array. This will let your browser know that this variable number is actually an array and can hold more than one value. Now you can assign multiple values to this number. To do that, I'll be using a simple assignment operator, but I won't be assigning just one value like I did before. But in this case, I'll be assigning multiple values by using a square bracket. So inside the square bracket, I can list out any number of values I want, and each of these values would be a value of this particular array. Alright, so now I'll list out 5 different values: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we have an array number with 5 different values inside that array, and finally let me give a semicolon. So but how can we access them? These values actually have indices which start from 0 to 4. So this particular value is in the index 0, this is in the index 1, index 2, index 3, and index 4. So the index starts from 0 with an array. So since this array has indices 0 to 4, then we can access them using those indices. So for example, number of 0 actually indicates the value 1, the value in the 0th index. So number, square brackets, inside that when you give an index, that index would actually indicate the value in that index. So I can actually alert this out to print this particular value. So if I alert number of 0, let us see what comes out. See, I get 1. That's because in the 0th index, the array number has the value 1. So if I alert 3, for example, it should actually print out 0, 1, 2, 3. In the 3rd index, there's 4. So it should actually print out the number 4. See, I get the number 4. So that's how you can access the values in an array. But we can also change the values or add values in a similar manner. So I can say number of 5 is equal to 6. In this case, there's a 5th index added which has a value 6. Now our array is going to have 6 values, and in the 6th index there's going to be the value 6. Or I can change the value of a particular index. So if I say number of 4 is equal to 7, then that means we've changed the 4th index's value from 5 to 7. So this is the 4th index, which is in the 5th position, which originally had the value 5. That's what we assigned, but since we changed it to 7 in this case, now it becomes 7. So our array would now have the values 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and 6. Okay, I just wrote these down so you can understand. So these are the actual codes. So let me alert this out to see if it's actually changed. Number of 4 should now be 7. See, now it's 7 instead of 5. So that's how you can work with a single dimensional array. We can also store strings and Boolean values like this. In this example, let me assign values directly to an array without declaring it as an array first. So let me remove this alert statement. And now I'll create a new array called var number1, which in this case would have multiple strings, okay? So strings that indicate number. 1, 2, 3. So I gave space between the different values. You can give spaces or you cannot give spaces. They're both the same. They work in the same way, so that's not a problem. Strings should always be within quotation. It could either be a single quotation or a double quotation, but it should always be a quotation. Otherwise, they won't be considered as strings and you won't get the output you want. So I can also alert this out and let's see if it works. Alert of number of 1 should actually access the second value, which is the word 2. Let's see if we get it. Okay, I made a mistake here. I said number of 1, which would access the first array. This should be number 1 of 1, because this array has the name number 1. So let me save this again. Live preview. See, number 1 of 1 is actually the value 2. So that's how one-dimensional arrays work. In the next lesson, I'll teach you about two-dimensional arrays, what they are and how they work. So I'll see you in the next lesson. Thank you.